to make nature understand, to make nature a content, to create future courses, to create new life, a new way of being.
Facts. We got melanin. Fallen angels just want us for medicine. You the GOAT, you the king, you the veteran. Reach for the skies, your answers are heaven sent. Ha!
This is a fact. At God's logic, I am a kingdom, and I am a kingdom who will not run.
Cause kings don't run. Cause kings don't run.
All right. How y'all doing today?
We all right. How you doing?
Good, and you?
Welcome to the second episode of I Love You, Black Man from a Black Man, even though I got two black women sitting here.
Well, all right now.
But this is the show that we're going to segue into the I Love You, Black Woman from a Black Woman. You guys will meet my black woman that will be here every Black Woman episode, which will be once a month. But today I have Avina Richards.
Hello.
She has a bachelor's degree in psychology.
Yes, I do.
And tell us about the little, organization. Tell us about yourself. Tell us what you're doing.
Well, right now, I am waiting for a new business venture that I'm working on to begin. I will be working in adoption and foster care services as the directress of therapeutic services.
Hey,
Okay, now.
She's doing a little something. Black power, black girl magic.
I mean,
Let's
Okay,
go.
then we got Jennifer Patton. She the most remarkable thing about her that I found is the fact that she survived a transplant. Two, like not just one, two. Like that's one of the dopest things I think anybody could ever endure. Like, talk about yourself a little bit. Tell us about you, Jennifer.
I've been
Patton.
through a lot, I was diabetic, went blind, then needed a kidney. And as
Don't
a
forget
result,
about the pancreas.
yeah, but as a result of
Okay.
getting the kidney, they also gave me a pancreas so that would get rid of the diabetes.
You know what's
So
funny?
that's a blessing.
Look, we can talk to each other. Like it's just
Yeah,
like, y'all
it just-
can, it's
I just
weird,
wanna,
right?
I just
Yeah,
want
it's
to look
weird.
in
No,
the
no,
camera,
just
but
admit,
it's
just-
okay.
Yeah, we right here. We in your living room.
But yeah, it was a blessing. So I got 2 organs.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, today, this episode, the topic will be about can men and women be friends? I just wanted to have this episode and segue in between the first Black Man episode and the I Love You, Black Woman episode because this is how we're going to identify the differences between men and women. I know we're only a few in number, but we can figure it out.
Yeah, for
But
you.
anyway, how we start every show is going ahead and playing that song Shundeo. Y'all should still check it out by Samo, SAMHT. Spelling is unique. But check them out. Here we go with the anthem of I Love You, Black Man from a Black Man.
I
We
saw
literally feel the
Damon
need to
late
be
night.
live.
I
By
called
not
fear
wanting to
and
hear
I
of
cried.
darkness.
I
By not wanting to
opened
speak
up my
about
eyes.
dark truths.
You know thugs
So
do
we
not
cover them
cry. I
with
had
the illusion
dreams
of
I
joy,
saw God.
which manifests
God
itself
looked like the
as
moonlight.
misfortunes or
I
sin.
saw me from
We like the
afar.
drama.
My
If we don't
future
create it
looking bright.
In our own lives, we like to watch it. Or there are others of us that stir it up with other people by allowing our own preconceived notions of what joy is to clash with the other understandings of joy. I say this to say, the clashing of misfortunes or sin are also struggles or trauma, however you call it. It is the joy of us black men. We subconsciously hate other black men because we don't understand how to be comfortable with ourselves. In every clash of men, I can prove that true. The realization of this in every interaction between black men well between everyone will yield the understanding and respect that is necessary. This is the point of I Love You Black Man from a Black Man. To bond us together, to build a community of wealth, financially, spiritually, mentally, and what we lack in understanding of the most, myself included, emotionally. Learning to be honest with self, behind closed doors and in public. We will all ascend to becoming demi-deities. Men beforehand, ahead of, before, and behind God and of God. Let's take over the world, Black men. Let's buy cities. Let our identity of wealth mean community. A community that is never void of respect and understanding, which equals grace and mercy. And let no man, fallen angel, or the like move our position. We are Nagos. Great song, right? Y'all was feeling that, right? Y'all felt the spirit of the Lord. Hallelujah. No, but let's just jump right into the topic. So the topic is basically, do you guys think men and women can be friends? And we can start with Jennifer. What are your thoughts on can men and women be friends? And I don't mean boys and girls. I'm specifically talking about men and women. And I also took a poll on social media. So I guess I should
Start with that.
Yeah, let's start with that. So I took a poll on Instagram, and almost
Instagram though.
Only Instagram. And on that poll, hold on, let me get to it. 100% said yes, that men and women can be friends. 100%.
But how many votes were there?
It was 117. So out of 117 people, everybody voted yes. So of course, I don't think so, but I think they're wrong. But that's the point of us having this conversation. So go ahead, Jen. What you think? Can men and women be friends?
I believe so.
Okay. Expound, please.
I believe they can be friends to a certain degree.
Okay.
So I believe men and women can be friends if there's like no sexual energy.
Is that possible?
Well, yeah.
So that means that one friend has to be unattracted to the other?
Not unattracted, but I feel like if the connection is genuine and they don't want anything from each other, then I really do believe that they can be friends.
You believe it's possible for people not to desire things from each other?
Yeah. Well, sex. I believe you don't have to desire sex from
But sex isn't the only thing that can complicate a relationship.
What other things can complicate a relationship?
Emotions alone. There are people who desire to feel love.
Doesn't that come with a friendship though?
Yeah, it does. But there's people who will become uncomfortable with it if, you had a significant other.
Oh.
So what you say about that?
I still believe it could work if there is honesty as well.
Okay.
So you got to be honest. You got to be honest with your partner. You got to be honest with this friend
About
the intentions. If you're genuine too, like if you genuinely want to be friends, that's what it should be. Ain't no this extra stuff.
Okay. What you
But I
think?
feel like friends and it's genuinely friends, like a platonic friendship.
Mhm.
That's what platonic is, and people get that mixed up.
Okay. What you say?
I agree with Jennifer. Men and women absolutely can be friends. I have a lot of friends, male friends. There's no, like you said, there's no sexual energy. There's boundaries, but I'm just that type of person. I create boundaries. They know, hey, this is the line.
Mhm.
You stay over there. Thank you. I'll stay over here.
Okay.
And as long as there's that respect, you respect the boundaries, like she said, you have good intentions, it's genuine, there's no reason that there should be an issue.
So absolutely yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I believe that men and women can be friends if the foundation was laid as children.
That's it.
That's it.
So you believe and women can be friends if a foundation was made as children, but sometimes that can make it become more, want it to be more because y'all had that foundation as children. So then what?
Well, when you have those emotions as kids, when you got a female best friend and it's almost natural to develop a liking for them. But because you a child, it's an adolescent like. You're not truly understanding what you truly like as a child. So as you get older, you begin to develop an understanding for what you're attracted to and what you desire for yourself. And as a kid, I mean, how many people experiment with the same sex as, kids? But that doesn't mean that they like it, right? It's just something that they
try.
had to figure out. So it's the same concept when it comes to heterosexual people. Like, as children, you're going to develop a liking for this person because they have the same interests as you. You
Okay.
know? So, but as you get older, you understand that liking the same things don't necessarily mean that you have to be together.
Okay, understood.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, when I think about it, I think of, like, I think back into when I was growing up, when I was growing up in church and the church folks told you couldn't have, like, I'm gonna just be 100.
Okay.
We
My
all grew up in
freshman year
church,
of
so-
college, right? My freshman year in college, I couldn't afford to stay on campus, right?
Okay.
So I tried to come off of campus, and I got this young lady that I grew up with. We was friends forever,
Mhm.
Since we were like, I want to say about 7 years old, we were friends,
Okay.
and now we in college, we 18 or whatever.
Yeah.
And she also couldn't afford to stay on campus, so we together decided to, find a spot together,
So y'all could split
so we
resources.
can, and that was blocked. Like her grandparents and whoever, I don't know who exactly had an issue with it, but someone took issue with it and it blocked it. So I ended up dropping out of college, and I think about the way our parents and our grandparents, their ideology about shacking up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like I think
That's
about
a different topic.
Yeah.
and that's a whole different generation as well, because millennials, we don't see it that way. I don't think. Like we don't see it. We don't believe in the concept of shacking up. It's like almost our understanding of it
It's
is,
completely different.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's what's required first,
Yeah.
before you even move in with
Mhm.
before you even marry a person,
Mhm.
because I guess the basic concept now is, how do you know you into this
Yeah.
person?
What if you don't like the person?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
if you
because
can't
when you
deal with
live
how they
together,
live?
it's
Completely different,
yeah.
right? So you still stand on your answers, yes?
Yes.
And you still stand on your answers.
Yes, you did bring up a good point though,
Okay, talk to me.
What was the
because he said that. Oh man, what did you say? I'll get back around to that because I forgot exactly what he said.
Is it about the fact that as kids, about the LGBTQ community, they start out by liking,
No, you made a point about when you were saying the childhood friendship
Mhm.
has to precede the.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you said something, but I had a situation similar to that
Okay.
in my 20s. And there was this guy who's still a really good friend of mine. But because we connected on such a level, I felt that I should like him.
Yep.
And then I had to realize, okay, Vinny, you don't really like him, but y'all just,
Close.
yeah. And I had to learn, like, okay, just because you close to somebody doesn't mean you have to have feelings for that person.
And so that what you just expressed is why I feel men and women cannot be friends, because that especially when you two are, playing a field, or especially if one of you are in a relationship, like it's just not. I don't think it's practical, because, like you said, you accidentally develop these emotions because you thought that, growing up, we're taught that if you feel this type of way towards a person,
Like, y'all connecting, like that's it.
right, that's it. Like you supposed to be involved with this person. You're supposed to be sexually attracted to this person. But the difference between men and women, though, and this is just, I'll say the difference, per my experience, what I've noticed, the difference is that with women tend to, I'll talk about it. Men, me in particular, and men that I know have this thing where, I guess, we can compartmentalize emotions from sex. And there are women who can do that. There are women who can do that. But it's not normal. So because we can compartmentalize, because we are good at compartmentalizing sex from emotions, then that makes us less emotional than you are. And so when you say you develop emotions for this young man, and in retrospect, he probably never developed them for you, because he always understood that separately, there is a different identity. And I honestly think that that's the reason why men and women can't be friends, because it requires women. A lot of times I notice that women don't take into consideration the weight that's put on men's shoulder when we decide to become friends with women. So when women, like, we become friends with women, right? And then these particular women aren't used to a particular genre of man, and that friend normally becomes a surrogate to her. And then she begins to learn and develop based on how he acts. And then that's when conflict happens between when she starts to date, she starts to say things, or she starts to try to mirror the man after the habits that the friend did. And that's when the friend and the guy get into it. So I think, honestly, if the relationship didn't develop at childhood and proceed into adulthood, then I honestly
Not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it.
Well, you can't speak for every man.
No, I can't. You are 100% right. But what I know for a fact is that most men are primal. So my homie, for example, I had a conversation with him before I actually came here, and he said to me, because I invited him to come sit in with us, because I didn't want to be the only guy, right?
Okay.
And he said to me, when I was a boy, I had a female best friend, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. He kept talking to me about it. And then he was like, yeah, but now if I have a female friend and we get along and we got a lot of things in common and I'm gonna be trying to knock her down. Those were his words. Because in a man's mind, when we become men, it's something about finding a woman that complements our inhibitions. Yeah, our inner inhibitions. It's something about her that makes us sexually attracted to her. And that is actually the basis of falling in love with the person. And it's about whether you are strong enough to separate the sexual energy that comes with the emotional energy.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, and they can. And we are not. We're not predisposed to do that.
Who?
Humans.
Oh, I don't. That is really immature.
I don't think so. I think it's just we. I think to call it immature is to deny that you're human. I mean,
Chime in, bro, but you kind of pushing me.
what you say?
I'm trying not to chime in, bro. You kind of pushing me.
Come on, chime in. I want you to.
You don't? Do you think that's immature?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to agree with the ladies, bro.
Mhm.
You, as a man, this is the key. Let's go with the key verbiage you used.
Okay.
A man can be friends with a woman. And the reason why you can do that is a man knows the difference between someone who is good for your mental companionship and someone you're seeking for a romantic companionship. Okay? For an example, I have always had female friends throughout my life. Regardless of what my sexual attraction to them is, I knew that friendship was more important than getting my dick wet.
Okay.
Okay? Let's just keep it a buck. There are some times that you, honest to God, as you grow older, you need that the opposite of sex
Opinion.
viewpoint,
Yeah.
POV. Like, as much as we are taught and raised, your mate should be your best friend, at the same time, we need someone who can explain to us where we're going wrong at with our mate. But I will give you credit for one thing you did say. The friendships that start at a younger age are always less problematic when you get older.
Mhm.
Because as you start to establish relationship, this person's place has already been established. 9 times out of 10, your mate will already know who this person is. Your mate will already know where they're standing at. And if it's a situation where your mate feels that this person is a threat, if they are truly your friend, they know how to play their role.
Correct.
Okay. So men and women can be friends. The question that you really should be asking is, can men and women still be friends after someone has expressed romantic desires?
And also, if men and women can still be friends after they get into a relationship, because the way I see it is, you said that the wife is supposed to be the best friend.
That's what they
That's
teach
the
you.
preconceived
Yeah.
notion,
They teach
you know, and for me, coincidentally, that is the case. My wife is my best friend. So there is absolutely nothing I have not told her or won't tell her. So in my mind, what I need a female friend for if my wife is actually my best friend? And I'm cognizant enough to be able to compartmentalize my emotional capacity for her,
Right.
and come from a perspective of logic as opposed to a perspective of emotion, which also includes
Right.
sex.
Now, there's nothing wrong with your thought process in regards to my wife knows everything, therefore I don't need nobody on the outside to get situated. But what was your female-based interaction prior to before she came into the picture?
I only have female friends.
Exactly. So what makes the fact that you had female friends back then, different than your mentality thought right now?
Because the women who became my best friend, as I mentioned earlier, I became their surrogate, boyfriend, husband, etc. I began to lead by example for them, and because I did that, a lot of times the friendships went south, because with me just being naturally chivalrous, because that's how I was raised, the identity of me simply complimenting a woman registered to them as I'm interested.
That's nothing to do with you. That's
Correct.
them and their insecurity.
Correct.
But
Okay.
as what would then be dubbed as a good man, the fact that you are the kind of person you are, they're by default automatically going to gravitate to you.
Exactly.
So that's
But-
only your experience.
And
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
correct. Correct.
but you are also 35% to blame in that as well too.
Correct.
Because you,
Yep.
in the beginning, when you initially recognized you were starting to be treated like a boyfriend without a title.
Now you going too far. That's no. That's the second half.
So let me.
So yes, pull it back a little
All
bit.
right,
Pull
say
it
my
back.
show.
Yep, pull it back a little bit because you are
No, but
100% right.
That was
But
needed.
But then again, no, not. Yes, it was.
What he
But
said
it's
was
coming.
needed.
It's
Okay.
coming.
He needs his break.
Right. It's
Re-
coming.
Okay.
It's
got
coming.
it.
So what I will say is that men, the reason why I will stay firm in the fact that men and women cannot be friends
Okay.
is because men are emotionally ignorant until
No, for real.
and
I
I'm
give
being
that.
100% honest.
I'm just saying.
Men are emotionally ignorant until they grasp an understanding, and understanding doesn't come with it comes at individual times. It doesn't come with age. So I do believe that it's possible for men and women to be friends, but do I think that it's a good idea? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And simply because it is the fact that I believe most men cannot handle it. And then when a
That part.
man cannot handle it, he weakens the woman. And then that's when toxicity begins. Because most women recognize men as alpha, the lead. And then when he expresses this interest, if the woman is not strong enough to, say,
Okay.
and then that's when we come into the conversation where women always feel like they're put in uncomfortable positions where they can't say no.
Yeah.
Like they're at the house with him, or, they're in his car with him, or etc.
Yeah, they
But-
need to talk to me.
Right. This is the development of that. And things like situations like that would not happen if we come from the perspective that men and women cannot be friends unless they started at adolescence. But that is just my
Right.
opinion per my experience. And that's just it. But I respect the opposite opinions.
Okay.
Right.
I respect the opposite opinions, but this is where we come to the break in the show where I play a song, supporting the Black man, and at this segment is also when anybody who's watching, if you make music, you whatever, you just let me know. You come in this portion of the podcast at the half an hour break. You guys come in, play a set, play a song, you promote yourself. Just let me know. All right, and if y'all know somebody, y'all let me know.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, this song, I don't see it on the. Is it on here, Tom?
It should be. Should be number 2. Should be the same button that was.
Oh, yep. It is. You 100% right. So this song, I can't read, y'all. That's something that y'all gonna learn about me. I can't read, and I can't. Well, no, that's a lie. I can read.
You can read to
I
let
can
them know
read.
why though.
I can't spell for nothing.
But there's a reason.
I read
why.
slow. I'm dyslexic, y'all. So this song is called Black Boy Run. Let me know how y'all vibe out to it. Comment. Go check it out. Download. Support the Black man. This is a great song. It's actually a Christian song, but check it out. It's
You can give
called
the
Black Boy
artist.
Run. The artist name is Common. Help me out here.
Common hymnal.
And Justin Gray. Check it out. Black Boy Run.
Run, black boy, run. Don't let them catch you. Don't let them stretch the truth about you. You better run, black boy, run. Don't let them change you. Run to the light and he will save you. Yeah. 'Cause every time you stand your ground, it's like the ground that you stand on don't belong to you. And when they try to buy your soul, let them know that there's no price. Your story must be told, and you're not letting go. You better run, black boy, run. Run, black boy, run. Don't let them play you. Don't be motivated by the hatred. You better run, black boy, run. Yeah, run to your maker. He will tell you that your skin is sacred. Yeah. Just keep your eyes upon the sun, 'cause there's another boy that's running, trying to follow you. Oh, yeah. And when this ugly race is done, you will find a father's love you thought you'd never know, and he won't let you go. You better run, black boy, run. You better run, black boy, run.
All right, how y'all enjoy that song, Black Boy Run? What y'all think about it? Y'all want to listen to y'all was talking. What y'all think about it? Y'all heard it a little bit. Y'all was
I
vibing
heard
a
it a
little
little
bit.
bit.
I
I
like
like
the little vibe.
It was a nice vibe.
Yeah,
That's
y'all
why
can't
I'm
relate.
chilling
Y'all
to.
ain't black boys.
Shut up.
I mean, you know, when you talk about run, black girl, run, I got you.
All right, so this is the part of the episode where I make the reveal. These two are actually my female best friends. Have been since I was 13 years old.
It's a little later for me.
Well,
Yeah, like
what we
15.
15? 15 for you,
15.
13 for you. You know, but yeah, they've been in my life forever. They was actually in my wedding. That's how deep it run. But yeah, I love them too. So despite the fact that I'm saying I don't believe female men and women can be friends,
Here we are.
So let me ask you a question.
okay.
What makes these two the exception to the rule?
Well, she gay.
Well, you don't gotta
That
put
don't
my
mean
business
nothing.
right.
She don't want me sexually, so it make it easy. Like there was. It's like becoming a friend with a dude. Like you just
But-
basically make an understanding.
Why he play you like that?
I ain't playing her though.
No, it's the fact that he just threw her. She gay.
She that's a whole that my best friend.
She's a homosexual.
Yeah.
She's a lesbian.
that's an LGBT. No, it's cool.
That doesn't really change much though.
It
because
does change.
Sexuality is a spectrum though.
Well,
Okay.
I agree.
Let's take it there because
I agree.
So, like, if you so first of all, for those who listen, this is the owner and operator of TDR Network.
Tone.
We have LBGT plus based podcasts
Right.
on the network as well. We are
Okay.
so just to let y'all know, we are very heavy
Mhm.
in the community. We are allies here.
Awesome.
And that's where the whole concept of sexuality is a spectrum. And there have been conversations where people of LBGT, specifically either gay or lesbian, has had opposite sex interactions at least once in their life.
Mhm.
Contrary to popular beliefs, some of them have had it with their friend.
That's normal. That is normal.
So, pause, let's stop right there. So if that's normal and y'all are besties, once again, let's go back to the question. What makes that any different?
Because
Because she might trust you even more to cross that line with.
oh no.
Right.
I mean, you won't.
No. I get what you're saying. I get the perspective of this dynamic, but he's talking about like like what you said when we was on our way here, you basically said that my understanding is that men and women can only be friends if they start out as adolescents and they develop a
Okay.
brother-sister relationship.
Right.
Your response to me saying that was, well, that could potentially make it worse. So with you, if
Okay.
you came up as my, and we, you came out to me first.
Right.
So us coming up, if you were ever curious about it, dating a dude or messing around with a dude, I will be the ideal option because you can trust me.
Okay.
But we never crossed that path.
Right.
But that's the point he's making. I just
okay.
wanted to drive his point.
I get that. But
But
And
to
then
answer I need to answer his question.
okay.
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 Because that-
Correct. To answer his question, he kind of blowing all of the topics.
bro, I'm a podcaster, bro.
I know, and I get it. He
mean
kind of
blowing?
blowing because I haven't revealed that I'm not heterosexual.
Oh, okay.
So,
let's answer this
we go.
question.
Yeah, I have to express now. So because I don't, the reason, and a lot of times people speak per their experience, which is why the truth is subjective, which is why the truth is indicative to each individual. But then there is something called honesty. and that contradicts all truths.
I give him that.
So what is the basic bottom line? What is the basic bottom line? And because I don't identify as heterosexual, I don't disagree with you. I identify as demisexual, which means that I have no sexual desire unless emotion is authentically developed, and it has to be genuine. And we can always tell when it's genuine. And so when it comes to a sexual identity, my idea of sex is like playing a sport. It's not something that's necessary. It's not something that is required. But if I fall in love, then that makes things different for me. So to answer the question directly, her being gay contradicts my sexuality.
You are a one-off.
Exactly. That's
Simply
why.
because
A what?
a one-off. Because the
anomaly.
possibility of two people of the opposite ends of the LGBT spectrum becoming friends is, believe it or not, uncommon.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm paying and I don't give a fuck. So,
Right.
But I'm friend with everybody.
Right.
So it is what it is. So I get it completely.
Also, me and David never had a sexual. That's true. We've never had
And
sexual
and that's
energy towards each other, and that makes it easier to be.
And that
friends
definitely
with.
does make it
and that's
easier.
because I don't possess it. I don't
Right.
possess it. I don't a lot of people look at me and think that that's the intentions or what I'm interested in, or it's even the essence that I give off. It's the energy that I give off sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's never my intention.
Yeah.
It's never what I desire. It's never what I want. So when I'm talking to a woman, I'm genuinely listening. It's not like I'm not out to get anything. And it's also the same way with men. I don't desire anything from anybody. So when it comes to developing friendships, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's genuinely what you want.
Exactly. That's genuinely what I'm looking for.
Because I can't, if we gonna jump into it, just because I'm a lesbian doesn't mean I haven't had relationships with a man.
Correct.
I still get passes from men to this day.
I know that.
So men are still attracted to me.
Yes, but I'm not.
Exactly.
And that was the basic point.
Right.
Is he your only male friend?
I am her only. Larry.
I have two.
Yeah.
And I have had male friends, but they don't identify like him.
Nope. And then also every male friend that she's ever had has been contingencies other than me and Larry.
Larry? Lawrence Larry?
No.
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 I have to ask because I know so many Larrys.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like what do you mean contingencies?
Okay.
Let's get into it.
So men,
I think I know where you're going.
men innately desire or expect to cultivate a specific relationship with the woman, whether it's platonic or whether it's sexual.
Okay.
So because it's even if it's platonic, there still comes expectations because you two are friends. But his expectations for a male friend are different from his expectations of a female friend. And because they are different, you being gay, yes or no, it's irrelevant to what he expects to receive from you. And I know several men who have lesbians as friends, and it is just to appease their sexual appetite. You don't get it?
Nope, you need to go some more.
Let's rewind. Let me ask you a question because it's
Me?
more so. No, it'll be more so for him. Do you feel that, with the exception of these two, any of your female friends in the past have only wanted you to be their friend because you fit the gay male trope?
Yes. Yes. And honestly, I won't lie and say that I didn't use it myself.
A lot of y'all do.
Yep. I won't lie and say I didn't use it myself because it's easier to navigate. It's easier to navigate. Instead of telling a man, like when my female friends, like when you started dating that dude in high school, we're gonna say that dude. When you started dating that dude when we was in high school, immediately I moved to tell him I was gay, so he didn't feel like there was a need for conflict.
Yeah, that still didn't work.
It didn't work. It didn't, but, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But the point is that we use it to our advantage because I'll speak for me specifically. I knew that I didn't have any extra intentions.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't care if you tell him I'm gay. I prefer it, actually.
Okay, so explain it to me with some of the male friends that you felt like, what do you mean feed their sexual or whatever you said? Like,
men will only become friends with me when I was younger, like when we got into high school and stuff. Men would only become friends with me because women liked me.
also, you saying that they became friends with me because women like me?
Correct. You are access to a different playing field. Access to women who, and I know, I'm gonna just be honest. I know because of the things I've allowed myself to experience, like women who like penetration, and will sleep with a man, but can't emotionally attach to a man. That's fun.
And that's what, see,
But that's why men want to be your friend. I'm just keeping it 100 with you.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel that's true?
Now that you look back,
I don't know because I can never look at it that way.
How did you look at the situations with
Oh,
your
this
other
this-
male friends besides him?
The same way.
and
The
how
same
many of
exact
them?
way.
How many of their friends hit on you, or how many of their friends asked you questions that, if you were a heterosexual woman, would have made you uncomfortable? Like, for example, when you drove home and that guy asked you,
Oh my!
It made me very uncomfortable.
exactly, and if you were a heterosexual woman, it would have
Probably still made her uncomfortable.
exactly,
Yeah,
but she didn't respond
I
to
didn't
it
respond
appropriately.
to it like that because I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a lesbian.
So let me tell
and
a story. Basically, this young lady got a Lyft ride home,
Wasn't a lift.
transportation,
It was transportation, okay?
whatever. And the man was flirting with her, and bottom line, they exchanged numbers. But for her, because she's not into men like that, she didn't register it as
Flirting.
correct. She registered it as, oh, my nigga trying to, be cool.
Yeah.
And that ain't it,
Yeah,
bro.
that ain't it.
And then he texted her. And that's completely inappropriate, bro. You drive her to and from the doctor. Like, why you? And he older, right?
No, we was probably around the same
It don't
age.
even matter.
But it don't.
It's inappropriate, bro. You at work and you got this number.
The thing is I blindly gave it to him.
Exactly,
not,
because
yeah,
you're not
I'm
straight.
not. Yeah, so it was like,
But you can, no disrespect to you, but you can't hold that against him.
I can't, and
If
I'm
he
not.
was shooting-
right. I
I'm
get
not.
it.
If he was shooting his shot
I'm not.
and she gave him the number, even though it may have been like, hey, you may be talking video games and I'm cool, I'm down with that. He still got the number.
Correct.
So why would he not utilize the number
Because he was
for
emo-
his mental intentions?
he was emotionally ignorant, like I previously said. Any emotionally intelligent man can look at this young lady and nope, I'm not saying you judge a book by its cover, but there is no one who wouldn't ask a question. There is no one who wouldn't, and you know that, I know that, everybody sitting in this room know that, based on how she presents herself.
And her
Yes
energy.
and no.
Yes,
No, here's the reason why I have to say that.
because there's some men that like masculine women like that.
You can't always immediately assume, because I know women who are not gay, but because they grew up in a male dominant household, they definitely have nigga tendencies.
And I know that firsthand. I grew up, I'm a male. I have a lot of feminine characteristics. And I grew up, I was raised by my granny, my mom, and my older sister. So I understand that, perspective, but that didn't stop people from calling me gay. That didn't stop people from assuming that I was gay without me. Even if I told them I wasn't, they still assumed I was gay based on how I presented.
But that's because we live in a society where niggas throw the word nigga you gay around like commas and periods. So it's easier for
No,
a
that
hetero
wasn't-
cis world who is still trying to navigate what LBGTE is while you were growing up
right.
to easily associate you with gay.
I'm married now, and still people still think
They will definitely still do that because that's the society we live in.
exactly,
Uh-huh.
and that's the only point I'm making. That in this world, in this world that we live in, perception is more important than truth. And the way she carries herself, the way she's perceived, is not disrespectful to assume that. It's disrespectful to say that you're assuming that.
Comma, but here's where that logic kind of goes out the window.
Okay.
During the conversational piece,
Mhm.
he was getting to know her better.
Correct.
We were having conversation.
He was having conversations. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Did your sexuality come up during the conversation?
Not at all.
So
Nope.
if he's still shooting his shot and he obtained the number, the thought of her being gay
Went out the
immediately
window.
goes out the door
Also, the
because
flip
he achieved his goal and, it
and
was
getting her
never-
number.
and never brought up that she was gay.
So what about if he got her to her house, to his house?
First and foremost, that is up to her.
Correct.
to
That's
get there.
not what I'm saying. But the thing is, this is where women begin to feel pressured.
Yes and no.
No.
No, no.
There's no.
No.
Because here's the
It's
reason
not?
why. No, because here's the thing.
So I should have been fucking it.
At the end of the day,
I'm trying to be respectful in college. Anyway, go ahead. Tell me.
That's
Enlighten me.
because
First,
that's who you
that's
are.
who you are as a person. But not every situation a woman is in that situation
Because she doesn't want to
aggressively.
be.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because here's the thing. If she got the number, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, and she got invited over to the house,
Mhm.
if she felt that one, this is not what it think it is, she would correct the situation. Prior to before she make it to the house, she has everything under. She has every moment under. Nigga, you do know I'm gay, right?
But before you let's do this, because this is why I move this way.
Okay.
How often do you assume people think you straight?
Never.
Exactly. So because she never thinks nobody thinks she's straight, she automatically
Assume that.
navigates in the
Mhm.
world like, oh, they know. And
And I'll give you
that's
that.
ignorant.
It is.
I'll give you that.
Okay, that's
but-
ignorant of me.
Mhm. That's why you
It's
didn't know how
ignorant
to
of both.
appropriately
It's
respond to
ignorant
him.
of both.
Correct.
And here's the reason why. When you realize that the phone conversation
Yep.
was going in a direction that you are not, one, comfortable with, and two, nigga, I'm gay.
Mm.
Let's be honest, the phrase, you do know that I'm LBGT.
Mhm.
Or you could have been, nigga, I'm gay, whichever one works for you,
Right.
should have been presented.
Correct.
Because at that moment, you realize he got a misunderstanding of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And before it gets too awkward, let me clarify the elephant in the room.
And then you meet the nigga that don't care.
And you will. Now,
I mean, I never responded though.
and that's probably part of the problem.
Yep.
See, because now,
So I was
because-
supposed to respond to
Correct.
it?
And that's the
It's-
problem
it's-
with a lot of people in the LGBT community, if we be 100, when it comes to men and women interaction and like we run into that a lot because people in the LGBTQ community think they don't have to come out. And they feel like they shouldn't have to come out. But and I think about this a lot, like when I used to be in like gay clubs or whatever.
Okay.
I think about it a lot when a straight guy comes into a gay club, he has to identify himself, right? Because gay dudes be touchy feely, like they be doing the most,
like
like
regular niggas
y'all
in the
extra
club.
friendly.
yeah, like it be a little too much
But
sometimes.
It's piggybacking off what he's saying. If you're a straight guy in a gay club, you are outside your normal element.
So you have to identify.
So you have to let those around you know that you're heterosis.
correct.
Simply because they need to learn how to move with you. And
Exactly.
just like how straight dudes may not give a care that you don't like dick, sometimes gay men feel like, hey, but why you here then?
Yeah.
You must be interested. And I'm not saying that it's everybody, but we kind of got to take that what's the word I'm looking for? That stigma off of men being overly aggressive, period. Because we're not, prime example, you in college, the place where you supposed to be slinging your dick at anybody who wants it, you being respectful.
That's because I was in love with a woman in college.
And you still supposed to be slinging it towards her. It doesn't matter. Still should have been giving it to anybody who offered it. Go to the clinic, get your clap medicine, continue on with your life.
Oh.
That's what you're supposed to do. It's college.
and
You only live once.
And that is why, and I just completely, and that's why I appreciate identifying as demisexual, because sex isn't, for me,
It's not a motivating factor.
no, not at all. Because in
And you know what? Before you go to, I got to give you credit for that. Most human beings don't get to that point until their late 30s.
I know,
They allow their
I've always been
hormonal
there.
and human nature.
That's
control.
why we've always been able to be friends. That's
Because
never been a motivating factor
Yes,
for any
no.
one of us.
no,
At all.
It's like,
First of all, something wrong with all y'all.
ain't nothing wrong
It's
with
not
me.
nothing wrong
But-
with me.
No, it's really not nothing wrong
No,
with him.
because especially and I
But
can,
you married at the same time. so the
no,
only
and
person
that's
you
not
should
it.
be
I've
desiring.
done porn, I've stripped, I've
He's
done
done
I've
a hell of a lot of
escorted.
things.
You want that right there alone. Now, let's stop right there.
Okay.
You have done everything that will be dubbed as sex worker,
Mhm.
that you have numbed yourself
Correct.
to physical desires.
Mhm.
Oh, see, now we're going into other episodes. I was raped. This is different.
okay,
even
so
there, believe it or
is
not,
different, though.
even that, not trying to say it, but being sexually abused also leads people down a path of sex working, and they definitely become numb to sex. Two
Correct.
things happen. You either become completely numb to physical interaction, or
just go
you
extra.
become, you
Mhm,
go
hyper.
extra hard.
Or you are also intelligent enough to know that prior to being raped, you also were not interested in sex.
I'm not saying not just you, bro.
Oh, okay, you talking in
Statistically-
general.
Yeah.
Statistically
Okay,
speaking,
gotcha.
that is the yeah.
statistically speaking,
Mhm.
you, sir, are just describing you are an anomaly.
Mhm.
You are the
Yeah,
definition
I'm
of a
having
black
a hard
unicorn. Because when you take all your actual living experiences, you take your mentality, and then you take your sexuality, nothing about you is normal.
I appreciate you saying that, black
Yeah.
man. Nobody tells me that, and I always hate that about myself. But
Yeah, nothing about you is normal, and there's nothing wrong with that.
correct.
Because
I tell
you'll
you
create
that
a
all the time.
perspective.
Not a black man.
You will create a perspective that may make people want to look at society a little bit different.
Mhm.
Because by definition, you check almost every box that's considered problematic in society. But your perspective is not from a problematic place.
right.
So
And that's what's up. I've never heard anybody speak to me like that. Thank you. Thank you.
that's why I own a network.
So
But anyway, we
If-
know we done with the LGBT.
But
What you got to say? Go
I
ahead and finish
just
it up,
wanted
and then
to
we gonna
say
come to
too,
a
though,
video.
like when you said if I switched though, if I started dating a man, that would be problematic.
For him,
It wouldn't be for you.
it will only be problematic for me if he wasn't doing right. I don't have an issue. To me, I was raised in a home where I'm supposed to protect my women by any means necessary. Whatever I have to do, I must do in order to provide and protect for the women that I say I love. And you two happen to fall underneath that umbrella.
Okay.
And so if you decided to date a man, I don't give a damn. It's just as long as he, doing right. But to be honest with you, I don't think he'd be okay. Because I'm not removing my roots because he present.
That's not
Agreed.
your call, though.
It's
But-
not. It's hers, but she's not gonna remove me
How do you know that?
because we've been through it.
Let's say that this.
Mhm.
You got to remember, she's dating a guy now.
Correct.
Okay. And if her love for that guy, and that guy says, "Hey, I know David's your boy, but I need him to back up a little bit."
Backing up. So respect is always at the forefront of my intentions when, and she can tell you that. That's why I kind of wanted to move over here. Respect is always at the forefront of my intentions when they develop relationships with anybody.
Yeah, even in my lesbian
Yeah,
relationship.
She's my lesbian. That's just a funny phrase to say.
So
out loud.
and even when I identify that the woman is not gay and she attracted to me, I still
And he's been right.
move in a space of respect. So I don't have a mind. He could come to me and tell me he need me to back up. I'm man enough to respect and understand that, considering the fact that I'm married. So if he say, "Yo, bro, I need him to," he overprotective of you, and I that's my spot. Shit, thank God, glory be to God. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. But when it comes to if there's physical harm, if there's emotional abuse, if there's intentional neglect, I'm not the type of man to ignore things like that because of the way I was brought up to learn to protect the women that I say I love. But Vivi,
Yes.
I guess we can come to you now. We could talk about, you developing relationships and what it was like having a male best friend growing up. And do you still maintain the idea that you can have male best friends, considering the fact that your only male best friends are a gay guy, a beautiful gay guy. That's the best spirit I've ever seen in my life. He's an amazing guy.
Shout out to my baby Adam.
And me,
Mm-hmm.
a now married guy who also identifies with the LGBTQ community. I have known you since I was 13 and you haven't had another male friend, not as close as me and Adam are to you. So with you believing that men and women can be friends in your adult life, do you think that still can be cultivated considering the fact of the conversation that we had thus far?
Yes, because
Okay.
I'm not your typical woman.
I agree with that.
My boundaries are very strong, and they know it's friendship, and that's it. When I notice you trying to slide out of the friend zone, oh no, baby, get your ass back over there.
Okay.
That ain't no.
So you still not saying. So what I've learned, and I'm gonna be 100.
Come on, the only way you know how to be.
Yes, it is. The what I've learned is that women tend to attract males, and I've always had a bunch of females around me.
Yes.
We all know that. And what I noticed is that women tend to want to be my friend because of what he said. Women easily identify that I don't present like the typical male. Women easily identify that. So with them easily identifying it, it became easy for me to identify what woman wanted to sleep with me. And so with me saying, "Oh, yo, we can't be friends because I peep your energy." I never say it like that,
Yeah.
but I kind of just pull off because I peep energy.
Mhm.
That's not me having a friend. That means that the friendship was never cultivated. That means that they always had intentions that were outside of the intentions that you had. So,
Mm.
were you guys ever really friends?
I mean, when you put it like that, probably not.
Yeah.
But it's about a good one outside of you and Adam.
One, and I know about
You
him.
do know Justin.
Oh, I remember the name Justin with an I. He don't live in this state, right?
Mm-mm.
Correct. I got it.
That's about it. The only one that ain't had no
He in a relationship?
ulterior motives.
He's single. Need to get in his ear.
Here we go.
I don't believe you.
But that's happened. You know how you mentioned it with like heterosexual relationships. That's even happened with me with lesbian relationships.
What do you mean?
Like they want to be friends, but there has been an ulterior motive. And when we ain't.
I don't
friends no more.
believe people in the LGBTQ community can be friends either.
That's the whole believe it or not, the ulterior motive concept is universal in human nature, period.
Right. Correct.
Because we as humans will peep.
You are so good. You are an amazing podcast director because you are spoiling the end of the show. You wrapping it up for me. That is the point that I was going to make to wrap it up.
You know what?
Go
This
ahead.
your show.
Take it away.
It's your show. It's your show. I'll talk about it on my show 3 weeks.
No,
from
but
now.
I want you to say it. I
no.
want you to say it so I can piggyback off of it.
All right. So, like I was saying before, it is a natural human nature for people to have a secondary motive with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always have to be malicious or ill intent, but there's always something else. Like being friends with you may not necessarily be because I want to see what you are like after dark. It may be to build a business relationship from you. Like you have connections that I might want to use later. Maybe you know somebody that I need to get connected with. So everybody always has another reason.
Yeah.
The difference is when someone comes, when they're leading with friendship, a lot of times they're leading with friendship to learn more about you, to present possible relationships later.
Okay.
And the thing about it is, especially in men, because we don't know how to properly navigate communication, a lot of times we'll lead in with great friend expectations, but can't read the room that you don't want romantic sides of it. And this is when you get them situations where men will now be in their feelings because they put forth an effort. It may be minimum,
Yep.
but to them it's maximum, and you didn't appreciate that, or it didn't get them out the friend
And
zone.
now you a bitch.
Or in my case, you have a bunch of dudes that still try.
Look, I like girls. I don't know.
My individual concept, and now that, and I'm gonna be 100. I didn't identify. My mom tells me that I decided to be a man when I was a little boy, but and she said that I functioned as one. And honestly, when you look at my life track record, I did function as one, but mentally, I was not a man. Mentally, I was not a man. And so it was easy for me to develop platonic relationships with anybody, but when I became a man, and I honestly didn't become a man until I got married. That is when, everything started to shift for me. This perspective started to shift, and what I should have been doing started to shift.
Yeah.
And that took place when I proposed at 29, and that's when the shift began to happen. And then 30, it was just like,
And really quick for you.
For real.
and so
But you still 29.
I was 29. but the I guess the point I'm trying to make is that as I became a man, I realized that even myself, when it comes to, because my wife had an issue with the fact that it's easier for me to make a female friend than it is her. Like I'm so
Good at it.
so good at talking to women, so good at emotionally connecting with women. I'm able to speak the language of woman. Like it's so easy for me because it's what I've always known. So in my mind, I'm comfortable, and I'm thinking, girl, you tripping. I ain't done nothing for you to like me.
Oh, okay, but that's not what they're.
No.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that who I am naturally, who I am,
Appeases to women
Correctly.
sexually.
And
And-
that's where he
On an
said
intimate
that
level.
that's the point. That's why I said he was wrapping it up for me.
that it is possible and platonic opposite sex friendships are needed.
They are absolutely
Mhm.
required because, and let me tell you why. So the poll that I took, it said 100% yes, but you know why?
Why?
All millennials.
Mm.
All millennials.
So
I
no,
can't say that.
no older.
No.
I can't say that. I have to. This is where I have to pause right there.
Okay.
As you get older, the bond of somebody from the opposite sex is actually more important.
I disagree with that.
I do, and here's the reason why. As you start to go into what we tend to dub our second life, we need to make sure that we have somebody that helps us understand and navigate what the opposite sex likes now. The same woman we may have known in our 20s doesn't want the same thing in life that we want in our
Absolutely
40s.
not. No.
Even when you're married, how long you been married, bruh?
2 years.
I've been married for 15.
Okay.
The woman I married is not the same woman she is now.
Oh.
And it no,
No. for
no, no,
real.
and it's
No,
not,
I know.
Yeah.
and it's not in a bad
2
way.
years.
It's because we age together.
Correct.
So sometimes that my friend will have to remind me, bro, this is what she's like now. When you met her, she was a student. Now she's a nurse running 3 companies. That's not, you
The
can't
same.
do the same things.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
You have to look at life from a different perspective. Number 2, as we also get older, you will notice a lot of people getting out of their previous relationships.
Right.
Dating ain't the same.
Nope.
No.
Okay. You can't jump out here in the same pimp Cadillac you had
And
when
think
you
you're gonna
first got with your,
sequester
you know, like
And
now
that's fact.
it's
Yeah,
different.
that's fact.
So sometimes having that person of the opposite sex to say, look here, Charles, this is what you are now pursuing older women with an older mentality. Let's change up your game.
And
Mhm.
See, I'm lucky because, like you, I have a female radar.
Mhm.
I have this radar because I have a lot of sisters.
Mhm.
I've always had female friends since the day I was born. It's always been like that. Matter of fact, what can be dubbed as my first girlfriend is also one of my homegirls. We still talk to this day like friends.
Mhm.
Never. We laugh about a lot of stuff we did growing up, but we also have admitted because of our friendship, we navigated our solo lives in this way.
Mhm.
So even though we don't communicate all the time, our bond was important. Now that we're older and she's getting back out in the world, she needs me, Tony, what the hell is going on with these men? And now I'm navigating her.
Mhm.
And I have a wife who knows females flock to me like I'm fucking Barbara Walters. Okay?
Uh-huh.
I could be minding my own business, sitting on the bus stop. Can you tell me about it? Like, hold on. Let's start from the beginning.
Right.
And that's just how I've always been. That's actually how the network really started, because that was people came to me about everything anyway.
Mhm.
But you have to understand, as you get older, those closeness matter. Then let's jump a whole nother generation. Let's jump to our grandparents.
Mhm.
Okay? Ain't too many of them. So you take what you get.
Mhm.
Charles ain't gonna only be kicking it with Otis. Sometimes Charles got kicking with Miss Ethel, Irene, the whole 9 yards. And he may not, let's be honest, Charles may not even be working to be sexual, but that need for companionship, that is the key thing. You build your bonds with the opposite sex due to your need for companionship.
Mhm.
That is where your friendships really come from.
And I
Mhm.
completely agree. I don't disagree with anything you
Mhm.
said. What I'm talking about is how you all started.
Mhm.
So my my grandmother is the don't ask, don't tell generation.
Mhm.
You don't speak about what happens inside the home.
Yes.
And then you got the generation behind them. Tone, and etc. My mom, our mom.
Yeah.
You have the silent generation, the generation that said nothing, just repeated the habits of.
Ooh, child.
Our
Correct.
grandmothers and
Mhm.
grandfathers.
And then you have us, the
And we-
loud.
Yeah, we don't care. We're gonna let it be known.
We are emotionally loud.
We are.
We are
And
vulnerable as heck. I don't have to keep this a secret. I'm telling.
Mm-hmm.
That is how we are. So when I say that, like it was all millennials. It was just completely all millennials that said, yes, I expected that.
Mm-hmm.
I expected a yes because we started the trend that it
they
made
could
it
be
acceptable
friends.
for men and women to be friends, made us look at it a different way,
Mm-hmm.
made us, we begin to adjust the mentality
True.
because a lot of us begin to develop male and female relationships. Even if we have slept with the woman, we've got our partners to understand that that was then and this is now.
No, got it.
And so a lot of times, you have women beastie as hell be like, I know she slept with him. And
True.
who he sleeping with now? Where he
Yeah.
at now? He loves me. It ain't about y'all had what y'all had.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be intimidated by that because I know what we have is real.
Mm-hmm.
And
Got
that
it.
takes the man to,
Yep.
Make that woman
Exactly, make
secure
her-
in that.
And that's how I did it with my wife, having a beautiful best friend like you, having a beautiful best friend in Kiana. And I made my wife comfortable with those things because I had a level of respect for her. I showed her that, she comes before everybody. She is my bottom line. She is who comes first. So it became easy for her to understand this rendition of thinking that, whoa, he got female best friends. So I don't got it. And y'all talk to her more than I talk to you. You hang out with. I don't know. I ain't even getting to that because that's.
Is you
I'm
jealous?
jealous.
Sound like your feelings hurt, honestly, right here.
Sis, you hear this? He jealous. He real jealous of us, Guru.
Call it what it is. I am. And it got a little weird, but I began to appreciate that. And I like the idea that you became more of my wife's friend than mine.
I'm glad you got
And
over that. 'cause
since
you
you've
was
been married-
stressful,
I
child.
don't want to be your friend.
You was real
not
stressful.
but
And
like,
then
real,
even me and Sonia, you know,
Closer, yeah.
we started to develop a
my wife's
relationship.
name on
I
this?
know, I'm sorry, but she gonna be on here anyway. But I
Let me
get
ask you a question before we get out of here.
Okay.
Since I don't want to bring it up a different show and it actually fits this topic.
Okay.
What is your feelings on the fact if your wife had a male best friend?
Oh, I allowed it until I realized that I was right. Men and women can't be friends. Men and women cannot be friends unless they are boys and girls and then become men and women. Then they can be friends. But I told her, like, this is the leeway that I give every man that wants to be my wife's friend. I don't allow them to be alone together because I don't trust any man. It ain't got nothing to do with her. I don't trust any man alone with my wife simply because I know that a man's strength is 10 times stronger than the average woman. Like if he's bigger than her, and most men are bigger than my wife, if you're bigger than her, I'm not leaving you in a room with her by yourself.
who
And
said,
even if
come
you
on,
are,
bro, come with me.
even if you're not bigger than her, I don't trust I don't trust. I've been raped. Bottom
Could they
line.
be
So I
trying?
don't trust no man with my wife. So but the leeway that I do give is that I understand that when you're cultivating a relationship with the opposite sex, it gets confusing. It gets really confusing at first. Because like you identified that you thought you were supposed to like them because coming up characteristically when you feel these traits that normally means that you're obligated to those emotions, that you have to go forth with them. And when that happens, I'm still not like, bro, you got to check out. I'm like, well, let's have a conversation. Because me and my wife, best friends, we tell each other everything. There's absolutely nothing you can sit and say to her that I ain't already told her. And ain't absolutely nothing she can tell you that she ain't already told me. So because we know each other's deep and darkest secrets, come on, let's talk. I'm not afraid to have that conversation. It's normal for two people of the opposite sex to develop emotions towards each other. But my problem is when people begin to lie about those emotions. And then I have to use my intuition to discern them. And that's when I'm like, no, bro, get the fuck away before. Just please, just please. Let's just handle this amicably.
If you sit down and you have a talk with this guy and this guy is able to express what he truly is feeling and he's being honest with you, you'll still be able to allow her to be friends with him?
She would choose not to be. That's not my call. I'm not going to subject my wife to feeling like she's obligated to be with me because she's not. So if she feels like, yo, I still want to be his friend despite the fact he has these feelings, by all means, you have that right as a woman. You have that right as a human. You have that right as a person. But I'm not chilling with you while this nigga got feelings. I'm not doing that. I can't. I'm not poly. I can't.
Well, I don't. Okay, so I mean it as far as like he understands. You get what I'm saying? Well, she married, blah blah. Do you feel as though his feelings could subside and they can be friends?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
So you would be willing to allow that confusing stage to happen
as long as it's with me. And if he's not okay with that confusion being ran through me, then no, hell no, I ain't cool with it, bro. Because and the only reason that I'm like this is because coming up being sexually confused at a time.
Okay.
Being sexually confused, not knowing whether I'm interested in this or whether I'm interested in that. I begin to realize that's a normal stage. It's
in a friendship.
Yeah, it's a normal stage. And even when, men don't like to admit this, but falling in love, we don't like to coin that term as a universal term. We only use it towards people
like a significant other.
Correct. But we fall in love with each other
friends,
every day. Every day we're falling in love with each other. And because people can't accept that as normal, they suspend the idea that actually happens. So they say, well, that's inappropriate. Actually, that's normal. It's not inappropriate.
I do agree with that.
So what makes it inappropriate is if you act on it.
Yeah.
And if you are not honest about it. That makes me uncomfortable. If I have to use my intuition, then I don't feel like I should be your friend. I don't feel like you should be my wife's friend. I don't feel like you should be around. If I have to use my intuition to discern what your intentions are.
And that's why you've always been a cock blocker all my life.
Correct.
Okay.
I shouldn't have to discern what your intentions are. You should be man enough to tell me. And if you're not, we need to stop beats. One of our hearts got to stop. That's just the way I look at it. That's just the way I look at it because you are intentionally being disrespectful. And I'm not interested in that, especially if she tells you she's not interested too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So there's no pause.
That's understood. Yeah.
But that is the episode of I Love You Black Man from a Black Man. The next episode will be I Love You Black Woman from a Black Woman. I want to thank Avina Richards. And you tell them your social media, tell them where to contact. Oh, no, you don't want that. How about your organization you working with? You want to promote that a little more? No, okay, that's cool. Jay, you got anything, any last remarks you want to shout out your social media? Anything that you interested in? No, nothing?
No, I don't really have anything, but I am blind. I'm a transplant patient. If you need help with any of those things, I could be an ear.
And she can also be a resource. She know a lot.
Also, I might be able to babysit for you too for a low cost.
That is true.
Okay.
She is a babysitter.
Come on.
But you can find me on Facebook at Jennifer Patton. You can find me at pretty much everything else at Perfect Oxymoron.
And that's a wrap for the show.
Thank you for having me, bro.
No problem, best friend. I am your host, Demi Deity. You can find me on Instagram as Demi Deity 89. The podcast Instagram is Love from a Black Man. I also am a photographer. I freelance photography, do freelance photography. You can find that on Instagram at 6 Day Genesis, as well on Facebook at 6 Day Genesis. And I am also in the process of writing a book, so stay tuned for that, y'all. It'll be out. But that is the episode of I Love You, Black Man from a Black Man. See y'all next time. Peace.